So that's correct. I'm here today to tell you that there is no such thing as correct English.
That was Kellen Barton, giving a TED Talk on why there is no such thing as correct English. English, without a doubt, is the actual universal language. It is the second largest native language, being used in all over 70 countries. The cause for this universality is very well known and understandable. The English language started to spread around the 16th century with the British Empire and was strongly reinforced in the 20th century by USA's world domination in economics, politics, and military aspects, and by the huge influence of American movies. In other instances, countries just started to learn and adapt the English language to become the second official language. As English as a language started to spread all over the world, so thus comes varieties that emerges. In this video, we're going to explore a country that was once colonized by the Britain and how they adapted to the English language. Today, we're going to explore Iraq.
Okay, everybody say hello!
Good day everyone, I am Robelyn Pimingas and I will be discussing about the geographical features of the country Iraq. During ancient times, land that now constitute Iraq were known as Mesopotamia or land between the rivers, a region whose extensive alluvial plain gave rise to some of the world's earliest civilizations, including those of Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, and Assyria. Most geographers, including those of the Iraqi government, discuss the country's geography in terms of four main zones or regions: the desert in the west and southwest, the rolling uplands between the upper Tigris and the Euphrates River, the highlands in the north and northeast, and the alluvial plain through which the Tigris and Euphrates flow. Iraq's official statistical report gives the total land area as 438,446 square kilometers, whereas a United States Department of State publication gives the area as 434,934 square kilometers. The desert zone, an area lying west and southwest of the Euphrates River, is a part of the Syrian desert, which covers sections of Syria, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. The upland region between the Tigris north of Samarra and the Euphrates north of Hit is known as Al Jazeera and is part of a larger area that extends westward into Syria between the two rivers and into Turkey. The northeastern highlands begin just south of the line drawn from Mosul to Kirkuk and extend to the borders with Turkey and Iran. The alluvial plain begins north of Baghdad and extends to the Persian Gulf. Here, the Tigris and the Euphrates River lie above the level of the plain in many places, and the whole area is a delta interlaced by the channel of the two rivers and by irrigation canals.
وتعالي بليلة بلبلوكي بربيل دعبلوكي يا عزيز الفليرانجليز.
Hi, I'm going to discuss how, when, and why did the British colonize Iraq and how Iraq achieved its independence. Iraq doesn't exist as a country before the 20th century. It is historically known as Mesopotamia, the fertile valley of Tigris and Euphrates rivers and the site of biblical Garden of Eden. Iraq got most of its money from its resources. When did British colonize Iraq? British colonized Iraq in 1920. after the division of Ottoman Empire. How did the British colonize Iraq? British start colonizing Iraq by drawing borders whenever they wanted. Their effects to colonize was miscalculated and selfish, which results to creation of unbalanced and violent nation that is divided along ethnic lines, making ethnic groups Sunni and Shia angry. Why did they wanted to colonize Iraq? The main reason why they want to colonize Iraq is because of its large supply of oil resources. Iraq has for a long time been one of the main oil-producing exporting countries in the world. After they colonized Iraq, they gained more power in income through running oil reserves and exports. Until today, this country have some control in Iraq without formal document to say so. Iraq gained its independence in 1932 after 12 years of British rule and centuries of Ottoman rule. How did they achieve its independence? Britain wanted Muslims to vote for a non-Muslim ruler to rule over. That's why Iraq citizens were angry. They wanted to create one nation out of these many different religions. The ethnic groups Sunni and Shia worked together to peacefully revolt against British laws. When Britain decided that Iraq is now competent and advanced, that they themselves are now stable to let Iraq be independent. Yet to this day, Britain has some political control over Iraq.
We want to talk about the facts on the ground. It is not something from my mind. It is not illusions in my mind. This is the difference between the people living in Iraq and the people living in USA or the American administration. When I'm listening to President Bush when he's talking, or the people who are supporting him, I can say, oh my God, they are still living in their dreams and their illusions. They are talking in something in the dreams, not on the ground. Why don't they listen to the Iraqi people? After 3 years, they don't listen to Iraqi people. They are trying to force the Iraqi people to think the way they want. And this is the wrong way.
Iraq as a country, as a nation, as a state, is destroyed, is totally, even the social texture is dismantled. And I think the American people lost many young men and women, and they paid very huge amounts of money that can be useful in, in creating jobs, in building the country, helping people, helping families. What is the goal? Why so many people are killed? Why so many things are destroyed? Why so much agony to people, to the Iraqis and to the American? Why?